Relax. My head is pounding. I'm going to wait a few minutes, obviously. I don't know how to do all that fancy stuff. So I was live yesterday briefly, and I, my son, I bought him this watch for Christmas. It's actually really cool if you're a parent and you're like at that, your kid's at that between stage where you don't really feel comfortable getting them a phone yet, but you want some way to be able to have, contact them and track where they are and you know what I'm saying? See what they're doing. Hey, hello. Then I really highly suggest this watch. It's a little pricey, it's a little bulky, it's big, but it's amazing. It's called the TikTok. Tick, like almost like TikTok, but TickTalk. And I got the 4. So I guess there was a 3, and the 3 is a little bit smaller, but the 4 is hello everybody. The 4 is it's bomb. I mean, you could it's got GPS. They can make a phone call to I think up to 50 people. So, you have to approve every single one of them, which is great. Um oh my god, no wonder why my head's still pounding. I never took my Advil. I put it in my pocket and never took it. But yeah, it's really really good. Hold on a second. Nana, do you have a wrench? Let me go in my YouTube. Hold on. So yeah, you could track them. You could, text with them only on this app. You could FaceTime with them and then they could take little videos. And he feels so cool. So he was calling me like off the hook. I mean, he has been. The novelty will wear off eventually. But right now he's just so excited that he has like, a way to contact me. So he calls me every time he leaves the house. So it's really funny. How is everybody? So he was calling me yesterday while I was on here, and it was like I was on my phone. My phone was about to die, and he's calling and calling and calling, and finally I just answered it. And it just messed up. I couldn't get back into StreamYard, and then finally I was able to, but I just ended it. Mm. Hey Shannon, how are you? So, but yeah, I strongly suggest it to those of you that aren't ready for a phone for your kid, because my son's very irresponsible, which he should be because he's only 8. Well, he'll be 9 in a few days. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't trust him with a phone. I don't trust him to like keep track of it and not lose it. Although he's all right with some things. I just don't trust him fully to have a phone yet. Plus, I don't need him. He has an iPad. He has his access to the internet and YouTube and all that jazz. But I don't know. I feel more comfortable with this. It's strapped to his wrist. He can't lose it. I mean, yeah, could he take it off? Sure. Hold on a second. You might hear an echo. I just wanted to give Nana a wrench. Hold on. You go back here. But it's definitely cool because sometimes, he's with my husband or I can't get in touch with my husband. And it's like, hold on a second. There we go. Um, so it's nice to be able to get in touch with him, sometimes, like, or if he just needs to call me or I need to ask him a question. But he's been like, dude, he's home all day with me. He's like messaging me all day, because he thinks he's cool. Amanda, so it's called the TikTok. It's TICK talk. It's a little bulky. I mean, Jesse's a really super skinny kid, so on his wrist it looks huge, but like they don't care. For us, we'd probably be like, oh my God, this thing's huge. Like it's I would say much bigger than an Apple Watch, a lot bulkier. But, for the kids, like they think it's so cool because they have this like watch, that they can make phone calls on, they can talk to you on FaceTime, not real FaceTime, only in the app, but I like it because, you control it. So like I could see where he is. I could I could even see like if his battery's dying. So I could tell him, put it on the charger. You could set it does so much. Cindy, it's probably about $187, I think it was. But if you go on their website, TikTok, I bought mine through Amazon. It's the same price. So if they're I bought it like while they were running a sale and they had this bundle deal where you get a charger stand. It comes with a charger, but I read that the cord is kind of awkward. So it's better to get the charger stand. So, like, when everything was said and done, it was like $200, but to me, for peace of mind, it's worth it. Another thing you could do, which I probably don't I mean, I personally don't think I'm gonna use this feature too much, but you could actually call in and listen in on what's going on, which is kinda crazy. I mean, I'm not into, like, invasion of privacy, so I don't do that. I just don't, like, look through people's stuff or go through people's phones. I just, like I don't know, but in an emergency situation, I guess it's a good feature to have. You know, I would like to hear his teacher one day. but but yeah, it's definitely I think well worth it. It is big the thing, but like he's definitely like loving it, He's enjoying having it on. So I should make my teenagers wear the watch, really. But it's just good because you have all the control over it. And I read about all the watches because I was gonna get him. There was this one called the fuck is it called? Gizmo, I think that might be it. I might be wrong, but I think Verizon sells it, and I was kind of like comparing them, and like this watch got the best votes, like the best ratings out of all the watches on like several different, websites. So that's why I went with this one. Just seems like there's more features on it. I haven't even like fully explored all the features. The only thing that sucks is like, all right, so if I want he could call I'm pretty sure he could call anybody, but not everybody could call him, right? So like if I want to this is the only thing that sucks. Like if I want his grandparents to be on there, I have to wait until I see them next time because I have to sync his watch with their phone. And like I don't know if my father-in-law, he doesn't have a smartphone. He still has a flip phone, so I don't know if that would work. He might be able to call. He can't do video calls though. Yes, it has GPS tracking. So, um, it's pretty it's pretty, it's just got the most features, which I haven't even gone through. The only one bad thing is obviously the size. The version before it, the 3, they have, like, different watch straps. I don't know if this one's, like, brand new and they just haven't come out with that yet, but they have these little have you ever seen, like, the Crocs? Those little, things you could buy to, like, stick in the holes of the Crocs? They have that for the watch, but they're like little characters. I don't know. I don't think my son's into that, but, it comes in 3 colors, I think, 3 or 4 colors, and I'm sure they'll come out with different straps, but anyway, the only one bad thing is that, there's an emergency feature on it, so, like, they could call 911, so he accidentally dialed 911 the other day, but no big deal. I just called them back and told them, "Your husband still has a flip phone." Yeah, I know. I don't know how anybody could still have a flip phone, but my father-in-law has one, and he loves that damn thing. He loves it. I guess because the size. Hey, Eric. So, Eric, I saw a video. God, where was that? I saw a video of you the other day, and, like, you know how you, like, online, you, like, build this, like, picture of people in your head? Because all we have to go by is, like, each other's voices, and some people I've never seen. And I totally like you totally did not look like what I expected you to look like. I just I had like a whole I don't know, I pictured you with dark hair for some reason. I just totally different. Not that you're a good looking dude. I'm just saying. I like in my head had this whole I don't know why, I just had this whole other person in my head when you talk. And it's so funny how we do that. We kind of create like faces for people like burnt toast. Nobody's ever seen what burnt toast looks like. So I have a vision in my head and I wonder if it's close to what she actually looks like. Hey, Gen B. I was like, no way. I was like, that's him. So hey, Romad. Yeah, I'm back, Romad. I got messed up yesterday. My son kept calling me and it was just like, all right, this just ain't happening. So I stayed home tonight. They went to hockey practice because I'm feeling a little. I'm still getting over a cold, basically. So I had the worst headache today, like that sinus pressure. I do. So and COVID is going around, dude, and we got places to go. So I'm trying to stay safe here. Blank space. My Christmas was good. It was good. It was good. So yesterday, some troll with my name. There's a troll going around again. I think I know. I'm pretty sure I know who this is. The same person I feel is trolling under many different accounts. There's a my name, and it's been around for a while. Then there's a Wendy account. Uh, who else? I don't know. There's a few others. They're all connected. They're all the same person. And I'm pretty sure I know who it is. So they come over here and they leave a comment on my video yesterday, and they're like, "Oh, karma's gotten you. Your dog died, and John is sick." And I'm like thinking, all right, how is that karma, dude? Like my dogs are gonna die. Like, how is that karma? Karma for what, too? Like, what did I do that I deserve that karma? But like, how is a dog passing away karma? Like, he was fucking 12 years old. Do you want him to live forever? Like, he's lucky that he lived till 12 years old. And I'm like, okay, like if that's how you want to see it, that make like I cannot believe somebody would be that fucked up in the head to say something like that to somebody. That's karma. Somebody getting COVID is karma. All right, man. Well, guess what? I'm fine. So I guess karma didn't really get me that great. Yeah, they're like, your dog died. Uh, I'm like, all right, dude. Yeah, my dog died. How is that karma though? Like dogs die. That's karma. Karma for what? For whatever I did. Yeah, 12 for a Doberman is like amazing. So hold on. I have a comment somewhere. And I'm like, wow, man, you're fucking miserable. But there's another person on here that talks about karma quite a bit. If you go on their community posts and watch their videos, they seem obsessed with karma. And I'm like, yeah, I know who that is. We know who that is. It's pretty obvious. Hold on. I have the comment somewhere. And this person's been around for like a while. I've seen them because obviously people have been sending me screenshots. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Yeah, your dog died, and John Crimes is moaning about being unwell. Karma is fantastic. Like, okay, dude. Okay. Karma is fantastic. Really, dude? Okay. Who celebrates an animal dying? Like, you're sick. Whoever, well, I know who it is. I know exactly who it is. Because it's funny, this person fell out with somebody from another community, and that person now is being trolled and having all these nasty things said. So it's pretty obvious it's the same person. And I'm just like, wow, man. We all know who it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody knows who it is. It's just sad. So okay. No, I don't think it's Laura, Eric. I don't think it's her. I really don't. Um, but yeah, it's a person who I don't even want to call them a creator, but they have a channel, but it's it's just somebody that's not happy apparently with life. And I'm thinking like, what did I do to this person? I really sit down, and if it is the person that I'm thinking it is, I'm like, what did I do to this person? Like, I literally didn't really know this person. They started fighting with me for no reason, and then they just hate me. Like, they just have this disdain for me that's just weird. Because again, like, I never did anything. No, not MGL. Cindy. She always have good karma. Thank you, Polka Dot Suzanne. How are you, girl? Yeah, I mean, I try to be a generally good person. I'm not perfect. I made mistakes, especially on here, but live and learn. Not a damn thing you spoke back. That's all. Yeah, exactly. I defended myself. I just can't. I just can't. I can't wrap my head around like being so invested in this shit, right? That you're that angry with people, or somebody that you never even fucking met, who doesn't have any type of effect on your real life. Like to be that fucking angry at somebody. I just don't get it, man. Have I gotten pissed off at people on here who've done shitty things to me? Yeah, I have. But, you have to take responsibility in all these things that happen to you too. Like, I mean, I've seen it happen to other people. And it's like, you know, when shit happened to me last time, I sat there and I was like, the first person I was upset with was myself. Cause I'm like, Leanna, just shut your fucking mouth. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're talking about people that have the potential of doing this to you. So, you're putting that risk out there. It's your fault. Are these people even worth talking about? No, they're not. Thank you. Oh, that's your birthday? My son's birthday is New Year's Eve, Alexandra. He'll be 9. You're hitting a big 4-1 this year. I'm hitting it next year, March. Ugh, I can't even believe a fucking year of my life has gone by. Like another year. It went fast. I feel like time is moving way too fast. Like my son is almost a decade old. Like, whoa. Like, you ever just get that moment where you realize something like that and you feel like you're just gonna fucking pass out? You're like, oh my God, what happened? How did 10 years go by? I felt like I wasn't even around for like 3 of those 10 years at least, with my mom being sick and like just going through everything I went through with her. It's like those 3 years of my life were just like a fucking blur. Like I don't even feel like it happened. Your birthday is March 23rd. Cindy, my best friend's is March 24th. Oh, anyway, mine is going to be 20. Oh my God, Ems. And you're so young. I can't believe you have a daughter that old. I remember I thought Ems was like 45. I think you told me that. I don't know why, but I don't know if you ever told me an exact age, but you told me you were in your 40s. And maybe just because you didn't want to give out your personal information, like, to make it easier to find you. But I was like, damn, she looks good for her 40s. Then I come to find out, oh no, she's not 40. She's in her fucking mid 30s. No wonder why she looks so damn good for her age. Well, she still looks like 10 years younger than she actually is. I'm the oldest here, 60 in July. That's not age ain't nothing but a number, girl. I'm feeling 100. You're gonna be 43. Hey, wild one. I feel like I'm seeing so many names that I haven't seen in so long. I just miss talking to everybody. Jen B saved my life. It was her. Wait, what? FOD told me to go to the ER. Holy shit, Alexandra, what happened? Well, kudos to you, Jen B, for helping her. And Fod. Where is Fod? Is Fod still around? No way, sweet Melissa. No fucking way. You do not look 47, girl. No way. I thought you were my age. I swear to God. I thought you were the same age as me. You do not look 47. Sweet Melissa should be a Colgate model. Girl has the nicest teeth I've ever seen in my life. Seriously. She has like perfect teeth, perfect set of teeth. Where is Texas chick? I don't know. I don't know where she is. There's a lot of people I haven't seen around. There was somebody I was thinking of the other day that I was thinking, damn, I haven't seen that person. Oh, I can't think of who it is though. I gotta think. Ufta. I love the way Science Girl says your name. Ufta. Ufta. We are looking for Fod. So nobody knows where Fod is. She was being stubborn. Yeah. I have a 20-year-old, a 16, a 15, and a 1-year-old. Girl, you're crazy, Ditterbug. You are crazy. I can't even listen. Jesse's 9, turning 9 in a couple of days. And I can't imagine. I was thinking of it actually yesterday. I was like, I can't imagine like going back, now that he's 9 and he's starting to get like a little more independence, and like going back to diapers from from 9, like, and having like a 9-year-old who's self-sufficient to going back to that, like having a fucking, baby proof the whole house. And oh my God, no, 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 I can't. I can't even imagine it. So I can't imagine after 15 years doing that. I've been gone way too long. Well, Cindy, my family comes first. I've always said that on here. And I wanted, and I still do want to pursue this legally, not trying to be like Laura, hey, give me money for a lawyer. Because guess what? A lawyer can't do anything. A lawyer can't do anything. What you need to do is you need to go down to your police station. But I don't think she could do that in her county because here there's a law written for it. There, I don't believe there is a law written for it. But here, you can go down to the police station and you have to file a report, and then the district attorney, which I'm already in contact with, they'll take care of it. So you can't, if you want to do something like that and take it seriously, you can't be on here uh talking shit about people. It's not gonna work out. So, people need to stop doing this because it's, first of all, stupid. It's a waste of time. Unless you actually see something, you're just wasting everybody's time. But like more importantly, you're taking away from kids that actually need the services. You're taking time away from those kids. Those people could be somewhere doing something for those kids that actually need the services. Like that case, I don't know if you guys heard about it, but there was a case like a couple of months back of these, oh God, it's so fucking disturbing. There was 3 what do you call it? Kids, I think it was 3 boys living in an apartment in Texas, I believe, by themselves. And one of the boys was dead for over a fucking year. So those are the kids that need the services. Not my kid. My kid's fine. But you're just like, you're hurting children. You're hurting children. Why? What is that going to do? And they really need to change the laws about this shit. Hey, Neek, they really need to start changing the laws about this shit and making the punishments more, stiff. And the anonymous reporting is bullshit because, and I'm not saying, I understand why, they allow people to report anonymously, but what they need to do is that they need to start making it anonymous for the person that they're reporting about, but not for the police, because anybody could call up. Any asshole could call up and say anything, and they have to investigate it. But you're just wasting their fucking time. I mean, and when I say they have to investigate it, that doesn't just include them going to somebody's house and speaking with the family. They go further than that. They investigate in other places too. So, you're wasting so many people's fucking time. And again, to me, the worst part about it is taking the time away from people who actually need the services in their lives, because they're understaffed. I would say in probably every city, even here where, I have a very high population. So nobody should, I mean, it's ridiculous that anybody could just call up and make those claims, make false claims on somebody, and they have to investigate it. It's about people on YouTube. The cops should use discretion and know when it's needed to be looked into. Yeah, they do need to change. Sometimes the laws need to change with the times. We're living in a different age now where the internet is just this dark, evil place. People who are miserable with their lives, who are unhappy about themselves, come here to fuck with other people, and take their anger out on other people. And, and it's sad, but it's part of our society now. And they have to evolve with the, times. Hey, stop domestic abuse. I saw my first cybercrimes attorney infomercial. Yeah, well, hopefully. We're like way behind too. Other countries like Canada and whatever overseas, they have much stiffer cyber laws than we do. So the internet's a dark, evil place a lot of the time, Polka Dot Suzanne. When you think about it, I just think of all the people that come on here that are so dark and so evil and so vindictive and hateful. And it's just fucking weird to me. You just saw your community post wearing a rosary as jewelry. Who's wearing rosary as jewelry? I thought you're not supposed to really wear those. Who would do such a thing? Oh my God. Could somebody, Capone, just go, dude. I'm not sitting here fighting with you. I don't think John ever incited people to call CPS. Why are you watching me, dude? Good Lord. Just go. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you, dude. I have no interest. I don't care. You want to talk about... Do you stop? I'm so sick of people trying to hold other people responsible for what other people say. I'm not even there, dude. I don't even know what you're talking about, referring to, but I'm pretty sure he would never incite people to call CPS. Come on, dude. Stop. Just stop. Just go. Stop trolling my chat, please. Yeah, that's him. Hey, EBL Dave 312. EBL. What's an EBL? Here in Canada, I have to apply to get my own criminal record, even though I don't have one. Darling Nikki, I didn't know you were in Canada. Nobody's inciting anybody to do anything here. I think we're all against that collectively, whether we like each other or not. I shouldn't say all, because clearly there's some people that are, think it's cool. But for the most part, if you've had it happen to you, you're not going to do it to somebody else. Or at least I would hope you wouldn't. If I have nothing nice to say, I shall say nothing at all. Yeah. I have no interest in fighting with these people. Bring it up to somebody else. Okay? Thanks. I just hate that. I hate when people come in and they're trying to make you responsible for what other people say and do, especially when you haven't even been around. How am I responsible for anybody else's actions? I'm my own person. Everybody's their own people, dude. I'm my own person. I'm not here. I can't control other people. There's this weird thought that people have that they're other people are controlling other people or people are doing things for other people. No, man, everybody has their own mind. You can't control somebody. Can people get brainwashed? Yeah, I definitely believe in that. 10 years ago, no, I totally didn't believe that. I thought it was bullshit. But when I saw it happen to somebody in my own family, I was like, oh, all right, this happens. And not just one person, several people in my family that I've seen it happen to. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, people can get brainwashed. But can you force a grown-ass adult to do something? No, absolutely not. Could you convince them to believe things? Sure. No, he's not his own person, obviously. He can't. Listen, if you have to identify through somebody else, then that should tell you everything you need to know about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Get your own identity, dude. Your own name, your own individuality. Stay out of here. Yeah, I'm not interested in fighting with him. If that's what he wants, he's in the wrong place. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with this guy. It's not worth it. Not worth it. I only do what Donald Trump says. Get out of my chat, Mike. That's it. You're not allowed in here anymore. I hate Donald Trump. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for those who like him. I don't. I can't get over that last speech that he did and what happened after that. I just can't get over it. Sorry. That's some true megalomaniac shit right there. Yeah, adding their names. Like if people came in here and Hummingbird changed her name to like Hummingbird Mobster, I'd be like, girl, no. Like, no, please don't do that. Now I know everybody did that with the Browns, but it was a joke. You know what I'm saying? But those people are like dead serious. Like I saw that and I'm like, why would you add somebody else's name to your name? Like, I don't know. I feel like, a lot of it is people just wanting to fit in somewhere, because maybe they just didn't fit in anywhere in real life. So they want to fit in. And I've never been one of those people that just like adopts other people's, thoughts and ideas just to fit in. I just never been like that. I don't, so like it's really, really, really hard for me to understand people that are like that. Excuse me. Mob Squad. Please don't. Oh God. Please don't. Yeah. Well, like, I don't know, be your own person. I like that everybody, especially on here where like you can make up your own name. Like, our regular government names are names that we have no choice but to have. But like on here, you get to have any name you want. Like, that's so cool. So why would you use somebody else's name? I just don't get it. I saw a really cool name the other day. Ugh, I can't remember what it was, but I was like, damn, that's like so creative. I can't remember the name. Yeah, Neek, we know that brainwashing is a real thing here. It's a real thing. It happens. It's a real, real thing. And it's so scary to watch, dude. Let me tell you, when you see somebody like that, it's almost like they're on drugs when they're like brainwashed. And it's like watching somebody who's like on serious hardcore drugs. And it's like, it's scary, dude. It's very, very, very scary. I picked my own name. It was actually very liberating. Blank space. I like that. Simple. Andy's name. Where is Andy? All right, hold on. I gotta go back up. My favorite name on here was Reese without a spoon. I remember that one. Hold on. Oh, was it something Bieber? Oh, Leave It to Bieber. I thought that was a funny name. I'm like, where do these people come up with these things? Yeah, Motley, I'll keep it up. Vom Red? What the hell does that mean? Are you like German or something? Maybe. Oh, wait, is that Shauna? Shauna? Did you change your name? Yeah, Nana, be careful driving. I don't know if I could do. Wait, is that Shauna? Shauna, your videos, I love when Shauna speaks on a topic, man. Some people just know how to say shit the right way, unlike myself. I'm not very good sometimes with words. I'm good with writing. I'm better with writing than I am with actually. Oh, okay. So you changed your name. I'm better with writing than I am with like speaking. I don't know, because I have time to think and like arrange my words and my thoughts. When I'm talking, I just like don't have that same ability. I don't know. Shauna, yeah, Shauna always, her videos, every time she speaks on a topic, it's always, it just makes so much sense, Very well spoken. Very, very, very well spoken. It's just I can't explain it. Well, I'm trying to think of what the last video was that she made. Oh, that I watched, that I was like, dude, it just makes sense. I don't know if it was to Diane, maybe. I'm not sure. Not 100% sure. My mother attempted. Oh, what happened? Hold on. My mother attempted suicide after. I'm sorry to hear that. The horrific disaster going on in this community. No one is your friend. No one is real. She's still. Who? Pink toes. Wait. What? Wait. Hold on a second. In here, like here, your mother? Who is that? I mean, if you don't feel comfortable saying, you don't have to, but Don't assume, though, that people didn't notice, because they might have noticed. They just might not have said it. But that's terrible to hear. Listen, anybody that's on here, I heard, somebody that tried taking their own life due to shit that happens on here. And I don't care who you are, whether I like you or hate you. Log off. This bullshit is not worth it. It's just not. Not worth it. Nobody's life, nobody's life is worth it here. Just log off. I'm telling you, it's very liberating to be off of here for a couple of months. I really do suggest people that when it feels like it's starting to get to be a bit much, take a log off boo-boo break. They're fantastic. Honestly. And then once you're away, you start to realize that everything's just so petty and stupid, and you really just I started watching other things, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just, like, don't have the same drive, because it's gotten so dark and so ugly here, that I just, like, I didn't wanna come back for a long time, because I'm like, it's just dark, it's disgusting, it's evil. It's really fucking evil. And so I stayed away for that reason, because I mean, you could ask Hummingbird. I just kept saying, like, I don't even want to come back. It's gross. It's horrible. You know, people are getting so ugly and so mean and so vicious, that who wants to be part of this? I mean, well, some people clearly do, okay, because they depend on it, for money and whatever else, whatever other reasons. For me, though, it was very easy to walk away for 3 months. I miss out all the good people, obviously, a lot. I kept in touch with as many people as I could for a few months, because, I there's people on here that I have real friendships with, you know, that I've made friends with, and I've kept in touch with them. But it sucks, because there was a lot of subscribers on here that I had no way of being in touch with, that I talked to and that I cared about, and I couldn't get in touch with, and that part sucked. But just being away from this, like, toxic, environment does wonders for your soul. you know? Then you come back and look at it and you're like, holy shit, like 4 or 5 months has gone by and people are still fighting over the same shit. Over the same shit. Who's a scammer? Who's not a scammer? Who did this? Who did that? When at the end of the day, we all have that choice to just turn the shit off and not fucking watch it if you don't like it, you know? And it's like, it's just toxic. It's fucking toxic. I remember a couple of months back listening to a phone call that was recorded, right? And there was this guy on the call, not gonna say any names, but I just couldn't believe the way he was talking to the other people, the women on the call. And I'm not even like one of those girls that's like, oh, how dare a man yell at a woman? Like, I totally listen. If a girl's being an asshole towards you, then I get it. But this was like just totally unwarranted rage from this person. And I was like, dude, if you're that fucking angry, you really need to get off of here, dude. Like, take a fucking break, dude. Listen to yourself, And I sometimes wonder, do these people go back and listen to themselves when they act like that? Like, and how do you feel after that? Because I know there's been times on here where I've listened to myself afterwards and I've been embarrassed of myself, and I'm like, do other people feel that? Because, hearing people talking the way they are to other humans, whether it's a man or a woman, I just can't wrap my fucking head around it. I'm like, why are you so fucking angry, dude? Like, that's an anger that, like, I can't, I don't know. I don't know. Yes, nobody even noticed. I want to know who it is. Pink Toes, you're more than welcome to email me if you need to talk. It's just like, I'm like, dude, you should never just be that angry about people online. Like, that is, crossing a line to me. So maybe you need a break, dude. You're just taking this shit way too seriously. And I'm not saying I never got mad on here or anything, but like, I needed a fucking break. I needed a nice long break. And that's why I'm like, if I go back, things have to be different. I'm not gonna, I can't, I can't waste any more time on this shit. I've only made what, 2 videos. I put them on my other channel because I don't even want that bullshit on this channel anymore. I don't want it on here. You know, I lost my monetization. I got it back. And I'm not gonna do, you know, these people are not worth that. And like I came here, I created this channel for totally different reasons, you know. And those videos I made were just responding because my name was in the videos when I'm not even fucking here. You know, I still see it. I get sent screenshots all the time and I'm being blamed for shit when I'm not even fucking here. I'm not even here. I don't even know what the fuck's going on half the time and I'm still being blamed by people for shit. Like it's fucking crazy. I've been there. Hold on a second. It's easy to get caught up here, but life is always more important. Well, it is. It is way more important. You don't owe anyone an apology. I mean, you know what, Alexandra? I'm not. I don't think I feel like I owe anybody an apology. I owe you guys an apology just because I feel bad that I just left. I know a lot of people came in here and you know liked coming in here, you know, and just having a place to talk about regular everyday bullshit. You know, sometimes you need that. And I feel bad for that reason. And, you know, but I know people understand why I left. So it's okay, but you need to take a break. You need to walk away. Just keep in touch with someone. There should be zero shame in talking about depression and needing help. It's real. Same here, Jen B. My inbox is open to anybody who needs help, who needs somebody to talk to. You know, just watching. Hey, Wendy, I hope you did too as well. You know, so I actually would like to do a video on the Cricut now that I've used it a lot more. Um, so if anybody's interested in that, like, I don't care, dude. I rather do that shit. This is just not worth it. Like, it's just not fucking worth it, man. Fighting with these people, not worth it. You're not going to change them. You're not going to change them. Unfortunately. And you're never going to make these people take responsibility. I'm watching a whole new crop of people trying to do the same thing that I was trying to do 3 years ago. And I'm like, you know, not that I don't think they should try because they do need to warn people about, you know, hey Badger, but just know that all you're doing is warning other people because if your goal is to try to get these people to recognize their, you know, horrible behavior and own it, that's never fucking happening. You're not making these people own it because most of them have a personality disorder and it's not treatable. You can't change it. So you need to get that out of your head. You're not going to ever make these people understand or feel what you're feeling. You know, I've heard people talking after friendships break up, you know, with these people, and they're like, they just don't get it. They're like, how come this person doesn't feel the same way? The easy answer is that they're disordered, and that's why they don't feel the same way you feel. They're disordered. Their brain is wired differently than yours, and they're never going to feel those feelings that you feel. And you know, you have to just have that in your head and know that. And I know it sucks. I know it sucks. I went through it with my own family because I'm just like, wow, like I can't believe these people have no fucking care in the world. It's really hard to wrap your head around, you know, somebody that doesn't have empathy or feelings or something. Like it's really fucking hard to wrap your head around that. You're like, how could that be? But it just is, you know, and there's no explanation for it. That's why I'm staying out of this channel that go after each other. Hey, figure skating coach. Hey, did you call me the other day? Because girl, I was so busy the last few days before Christmas. I felt like my head was going to freaking pop off. I mean, I was building my little soldier guy. That took me a while. I was trying to get him finished so I could at least have him up for a couple of days. I didn't realize it was going to take me as long as I did. And then, you know, between that, wrapping presents, shopping, because I fucking was last minute with everything this this year for some reason. I don't know what the hell was up with me, but I literally waited till the last minute. If people can't tell by now who is what, then nothing I say will convince you. Exactly. Exactly, Wendy. That's how I feel at this point. There's a whole new crop of people going after those people. And you know what? Those people are always going to have that. If it's not us, if it's not them, it's going to be other people because their behavior is just so outrageous, and they don't see a problem with it. And they have it for 3 fucking years. So we're certainly not going to make them see it. Nothing I say is going to make them see it. Okay, figure skating coach. Yeah, it was just insane last week. I literally was running nonstop from morning till night, just trying to get shit done. Next year, I swear to God, I'm starting my decorating in early November. I'm not gonna turn the lights on, but I'm definitely gonna, go through everything, put it together. I had to fix a lot of my shit this year, because the lights were out and whatever. So I had to rewire a couple of the things on my lawn. It was like mayhem. I felt like it was like a full-time job. And now it's like, I gotta take it all down. I gotta take it all down. Yes, wrapping presents. Oh God. It took me a full day just to wrap presents. I started in the morning and then I was wrapping presents till 1 a.m. I was delirious at 1 a.m. Best way I found is not watch, not to participate, and not to take it personally. It got to me for a while. People are gross. I'll focus on the happy and healthy. Dude, there's so much other shit. People spend night and days trying to convince you they aren't toxic, crazy lunatics. Many have labeled them as trust your first interest. Yeah, exactly. Pink toes. There's so many other things to watch on here. I found so many other cool things. I was addicted to tiny houses, even though I could never live in one because I already feel like I live in a fucking tiny house. But I was like, these tiny house things are awesome. Just looking at what people could do in a small space for some reason, I don't know. I got addicted to watching that. I started watching other channels that have nothing to do with here. There a channel called Adventures with Purpose, where they go and they dive and they look for missing people and they find cars and all sorts of crazy shit. There's a whole fucking world out there of cool shit to watch. People who are actually doing something worthwhile with this platform other than fighting with each other, over the same bullshit that they have been fighting over for years. Calling people a scammer. This person's a scammer. That person's a scammer. Who fucking cares? Don't give them money. That's it. If you think that the person's a scammer, you know what I'm saying? If you think somebody's a scammer, don't give them money. Period. If other people want to give them money, that's on them. At this point in time, if you don't know about the dangers of giving money to people on the internet, I don't know what to tell you. Bye, Adam. I feel a bit annoyed because I'm having fun taking care of him while I can. Who's that, Adacor? 80 fucking men. If people want to talk to other people, who gives a shit? Just let people live and do what they got to do. It's not your concern. I watch Tiny Houses. I also watch Adventures with Purpose. I adore Mr. Ballin, Isabel Page, Unsolved No More. Oh, don't know if you guys heard this. It's not really I guess nationwide news, but first of all, there was this great podcast that I listened to on the Long Island serial killer. For anybody who's interested in this case, those of you guys who come from true crime. And hold on, let me get the name of it. It's on Spotify. I don't know if it's accessible if you don't have an iPhone. I don't know if Spotify is exclusive to iPhone or if it's on any other platform. But for those of you who do have, hold on, an iPhone, let me just get the name of it. Tell you guys exactly This fucking thing, dude. I turned my phone on and now it's starting to do this wacky shit telling me that my mic's unplugged. Okay, so it's called Unraveled. And hold on a second. Let me just look at the. Okay, yeah. It's called Unraveled. Oh, it's also on Discovery Plus. So if you have that, you could also listen to that. Yes, Ms. Leah, Unraveled. And let me tell you something. Probably one of the best podcasts I've listened to on the case. Because they didn't just retell the story. Because we know the story, right? We know what happened. I know all the events that happened, but they actually talked to some of the people involved in the story. Um, and they really got into this aspect of this police officer or ex chief of police, James Burke. So, and it's fucking crazy, dude. It's crazy. And they interview several people that either, knew him or crossed paths with him at some point in time in the police department. And they really got into that aspect, which I knew about, but I didn't know in such great detail. And it was really good. It was just a really good podcast. So if you're interested, why won't they talk about Alexandra in this podcast? That's all they talk about is him. And I'll tell you why they won't talk about him is because there's still people. So Steve Ballone, I think his name is, who is something for Suffolk County. He's a politician. I forget his exact position, so I don't want to be wrong, but he's high up there, in the legislature for Suffolk County. He's connected with Burke. Okay, so the people that are still being put in power in these different positions in the police department, there's still a connection to this guy. So until all those people are out, it's not going to be discussed. It's just not. This guy still has a grip over the police department, even though he's been in jail. He's out now. He's here just living his, normal life. But there's still people that are in power that were connected to him, that were part of his inner circle. So until all those people are gone, I don't know. Like right now, Suffolk County is switching over to a new district attorney. Okay, so Tom Sini, the ex-district attorney, he's out. He got voted out, which is very rare that happens. And this new guy's coming in, and that was the other news that I wanted to update you guys with on the case, was that he has announced that he's going to start releasing stuff to the public. He's making this case a priority. He's putting all fresh eyes on it, and he's going to make the files and everything accessible to everybody, in the department, both the FBI and everything like that. But you really need to listen to the podcast called Unraveled, because that podcast really gets deep into the story about the corruption in the police department. And I got to be honest, I was one of those people who was like, there's no way this guy Burke was the killer. And now I don't know. I don't know if he is the killer. I don't know if he's the killer himself, or this group. It's crazy. It's a fucking crazy story about corruption in the police department, and it's sickening. This guy's a sick fuck, this Burke guy. So he had one of the things that was in, spoiler alert here, but one of the things that I had personally never heard before that came out in this podcast was, so this guy Burke went to jail because there was this drug guy, right? This drug addict guy. Shit, I can't think of his name. Chris something. I think it was Chris. We'll just call him Chris. I forget his exact name. So he got, he was in and out of jail. He was a heroin addict, whatever. He was going around one night in Smithtown. That's the town that Burke lives in, the chief of police, the ex-chief of police. And he was going around one time, and he heard from other people in the neighborhood that the guy Burke was a crooked cop. And so he broke into his car one night. I don't know if it was a police car or a regular car. I forget that detail. But either way, he broke into his car and he took this duffel bag. And in that duffel bag was all sorts of crazy shit. But the one thing that I had never heard about was I think there was like guns in there, drugs. I don't know. It was all sorts of crazy shit, right? But one of the things I never heard was there was a smut film in there. Now, if you don't know what a smut film is, or I'm sorry, not smut, snuff film. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a film of a girl being killed, strangled and killed. And it was so he got home, he has his duffel bag, and him and his friend popped the tape into the VCR or whatever the fuck it was, a DVD, whatever it was. And they start watching it, and it was real. He said it was like this was home recorded, like by somebody, and it was a video of this prostitute being strangled to death and killed. So Burke, somehow they find out that this kid was the one who broke into his car. So he comes down, which is very weird because, the chief of police usually doesn't show up to, crime scenes like that. Well, not in that way, to do what he was doing. So they go to the house, they raid his house, they kick his front door in, and the guy Burke beats the shit out of this guy. I mean, beats the shit out of him. And then they bring him down to the police station and they question him and they beat the shit out of him some more. And that this kid thought nobody's ever going to believe me, but somehow his story got out there, and that guy Burke, that's what he was in jail for. That's why he went to jail. It's fucking crazy for beating the shit out of this guy, this drug addict guy who robbed the car. So he ends up doing, I think it was like 5 years in federal prison, and I don't remember if there was other charges alongside that, but he got stripped of his badge and everything like that, and he spent 5 years in jail. So this kid comes out with this story now, and they interview him on the podcast. Like the whole first episode is him telling his whole story. And it's pretty fascinating. Then as the podcast goes on, they start telling you about all these other people that had dealings with this Burke guy who was the chief, and all the shady like comments he made and parties he used to attend with hookers and drugs and all sorts of crazy shit. So he's like really super shady. Yes, he sued and won. A bunch of people went down with him too. Yeah, that's the other thing. He took down a bunch of other people. What's his name is in jail now. I can't remember his name. I could see his face, but I can't remember his name. Like this shit's fascinating to me because this is my police department. Like it's the police department of the county that I live in. So it's fucking fascinating, because some of the precincts that he worked in, I've been to those precincts. Like it's fucking crazy, man. And I know people that work in those precincts. So it's crazy. Like the what do you call it? Our police department is the 10th largest in the country and probably the 10th highest paid. Spoda, that's it. Spoda. He just went down too. He's going to jail. So he took down all these people with him. It's really like involved. I'm giving you guys like the Cliff Notes version of it, but it's fascinating to listen to, how somebody like that, who's clearly a sociopath, gets into a position of power with his whole family was cops. So he disgraced his whole family with this shit. But like, it's just fascinating, the whole story. Could he be the serial killer? Sure. But I don't know. I kind of feel like if he was at this point, they would have already made an arrest. I'm sure they have evidence to connect him. What's the name of the podcast? So Sweet Melissa, it's called Unraveled and it's on Spotify. I don't know if it's on Discovery Plus too. So they're doing another season of, I guess, the Long Island serial killer, but in between, I think they're doing like some other case that they're covering. But it's a really good podcast. The girl that basically is like the main narrator of the podcast, she's friends and grew up with the kid who got beat up by Burke. So she, so he talked to her. She kept in touch with him all those years, he just kind of went down the wrong path. He was like a star baseball player or some shit when he was in high school. And then he just kind of went down the wrong path at some point and got involved in drugs. So it's just a really fucking interesting podcast. Like I listened to it in one shot because it was like, I just like, I had to, it was like, so, whatever the word is, compelling because I really didn't know the story too much of the guy Burke. I knew like the, basics, but this is in depth and it's really interesting. Hey Jeannie, thank you. Oh, it is on Apple podcast. Okay. Yeah, definitely check it out. Then there's another Lisk one that I started listening to, but I haven't finished yet. And that one's just called Lisk, Lisk. So, but they really interview a lot of people, which is cool because for some reason you don't hear from many people in the case. The other really interesting thing was about Shannan Gilbert, because that's what started this whole case off, was the girl Shannan Gilbert went missing, right? She was at a John's house. She ran away. They won't release the 911 call, but her attorney is still fighting this guy. And he said that when they did talk about the 911 case, a police officer that spoke about it, he's totally lying about it. So something shady up with that too. It's just really interesting. They cover every single person that's been a suspect, so it's interesting, to say the least. I think it's interesting. I might have said that 100 times. Hey, Robbie. They don't talk about it much. The last they released was the belt buckle. Well, you want to see something crazy, Alexandra? Hold on, because I didn't know this. So after I listen to this, I go and check out the website, because they actually have a website. Hold on a second. What is it called? Lisk. No, Gilgo. What is it called? Gilgo News, I think. So I showed you guys this a long time ago. They have a website, and I hope they start updating this more, because, like, could you imagine what these families are going through? Like, just watching the Summer Wells case and all the people that are, well, there's a lot of people exploiting the case, but there's also, a lot of people that are really, really do, care about the case and want to help, and, going without answers for this amount of time. Could you imagine 10 years goes by and you don't have any answers? I mean, I can't imagine it. All right. So hold on. Let me share this with you guys, because I didn't know this. Never saw this. So here's the website. I think I showed you guys. Hold on. I got to take Figure Skating Coach's comment off there so you guys could see it. So if you go on to Gilgo News, is it this one, recovered? Yeah. See, when they first showed the belt, they only showed this and this. So it could be HM or WH. Here's the thing, and they brought this up in the podcast, and I think this is really interesting. They never showed, these are new. These two pictures down here, I mean, they're new to me. I never saw them before, but they're brand new. Like, they're new. They must have released them, I don't know when, some point way after that. And it was weird, because when they had originally released the first pictures, they had a whole press conference about it. But when they released these pictures, I don't know. But let's look at this belt now, because it's a black belt. And it's very odd that they're only showing that little tip of the belt. What about the rest of the belt? Where's the rest of the belt? And they brought this up on the podcast. And at first I was like, well, what do you need to see the whole belt for? And then I started to think about it. That is weird. Why won't they show the whole belt? I think it's because this isn't just a regular belt. This isn't just your everyday, belt that you put on with a pair of slacks. This belt has to have something else attached to it. Maybe it's a utility belt of some type. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a construction belt that's black, but I have seen police officers who wear black belts. And look at this. I mean, if you really look at it, it's a black leather belt. Looks kind of, from this point, it's kind of hard to tell, but you can see there's a lot of wear and tear on it. And could it be a police officer's belt? And that's why they're not showing us the whole thing, Where'd my window go? Hold on, I lost my StreamYard window. All right. But it's pretty interesting. Where's the rest of the belt? Yeah, it's a weird case, Adacor. It's a freaking, Strange, strange case that's just gone on. So I'm really hoping, I don't want to get my hopes up because I've been following this case since the day they found those bodies on the beach. I mean, I've been following it. I've watched, everything they've had, except I didn't watch the Lost Girls movie because there's just no point. Uh I don't I don't need to watch a fictional retelling of this story. But there's a lot of twists and turns. But anytime there's a new article or anything, I read it. I've read books about it. I read the Lost Girls book, so that's another reason why I haven't watched the movie because I read the book. But it's just, it's been going on for way too long. And I don't want to get my hopes up because we've had several different district attorneys come in, from and police chiefs and people in, high positions, and they've all promised different things. But now this new district attorney, I mean, he made it a point. He's taken office in, January 1st. And he made it a point to say that this case is going to be a priority of his, that he's not, he's going to put this case out there and start releasing things and asking for the public's help because at this point in time, they need it. It's been 10 years, memories fade. Like 10 years ago, if they would have released this belt, it might have triggered somebody. Holy shit, I saw that recently. But 10 years later, nobody's going to remember seeing this belt, So, I mean, that's like a small detail in life that you would never think of. But had they released it 10 years ago and somebody had just seen it, then maybe it would have helped in some way. But at this point, it's not too helpful. Too many jewels. Listening while going to sleep. Good night. Too many jewels. I did a deep dive in this. Yeah, 2022. I mean, come on. These families are still suffering and have no idea what happened to their loved ones. I mean, they know how they died, but they need to know who did it. It's just sick that it's gone on for this long. Well, the burlap sacks, Alexandra, have been a controversial, to say the least. Some people say they exist. Some people say they don't exist. So they talk about that actually in the podcast, but they're controversial, to say the least, because there's no definitive answer as to whether those were there or not. So it's very strange. Very strange. But that is a detail that's important, To me, this belt looks like a policeman's belt. It could be just a regular belt, but I feel like if it was, why not show us the buckle? Why not show us the rest of the belt? If it's like a tactical belt of some type, I mean, that's the only reason I could see why they would be hiding the rest of the belt and only showing. I mean, the first pictures they released was literally that little, brown picture that looked like you could just see the letters and that was it. They cropped it down to just the letters. So like you couldn't even tell how big they were. Now that you see them, you're like, oh, okay, those are small, they're smaller than I thought. They exist. No one will talk about it for some reason. There's a lot of law enforcement is holding back. Yeah, well, that's what they really get into in the podcast. That they're talking about how they've held back way too much information in this case. Sometimes, and there's been many cases. Look at the Gabby Petito case. Had they not released that 911 call and all that shit, Gabby's body may have never been found. Those people found her body driving by, and just happened to have her van photographed in the background of their video. I mean, but had they not released all that other shit, people wouldn't have taken an interest on the case. You know what I'm saying? And that might have never happened. So I think that in this day and age, especially with all the web sleuths and stuff, they should release things. It's just disgusting how, like, I've been following true crime online for years. I mean, I've been pretty much following true crime since high school, but I've always watched like Dateline and shit, but it's definitely like the genre, which I hate even calling it that, but I guess it is just the way it's evolved to today, and how disgusting social media, the role that social media plays, because it's both good and a bad. It's good because you get the public's help and shit like that, but it's also bad. Like last night, and I'm not putting burnt toast down for this. I'm just saying, I love burnt toast. But she was saying about, if anybody has tips to call on the tips line. I wouldn't even share that in my chat, because then what happens is you get a bunch of idiots calling in and saying things like, you know, oh, a psychic told me, like, and that wastes the police time. They have to investigate all these tips. So, that in that way, I feel like social media hurts the cases sometimes. John Benet Ramsey, 1986. Yes, I remember that case, Alexandra, and yeah, that case. I mean, this whole Summer Wells thing though is just really like disturbing. It is, and these people that are going out. I mean, I was like enraged when I saw those people in front of the house with the bullhorns. Like, I'm sorry, I just thought that was so ridiculous. Like, I followed the Gabby Petito case pretty closely again because it was something that happened, close to home. And I ended up on the news one day. I'm sure those of you who saw Brian's video saw that, but I ended up on the news totally by accident one day. It was like an early morning. I'm going out and I was going to the nail supply store actually. I was in the middle of doing my nails. And I'm in my pajamas still, like I'm not even freaking dressed. I didn't do my hair, nothing, no makeup, nothing, right? I'm driving there, and to get to this nail supply store, I have to I have to pass through this town called Bayport. So I go all the way down to the end of this road, and I get to the end of the road, and I'm like, holy shit, there was this huge Gabby Petito memorial out there. So Hummingbird's following the case, she was helping out, making videos and stuff. So I said, let me get a picture for her. So I snap a little picture on my phone, and oh, Nico, you were on the phone with me when this happened. I was talking to my cousin Nico. We were on the phone. So I snap a picture and I'm like, shit, I was across the street. So, and I was in like the right turning lane. So I was like, you know what, let me turn around and I'll circle back around. Now, when I first pulled up, there was a camera there, just one news camera and one, person, whatever, newscaster, whatever the fuck you call them, reporter. So I go, let me turn around. So I had to kind of go around this block, turn around. It took me like a minute or two. By the time I pull back up, now I'm on the same side of the road as the Gabby Petito Memorial. So I pull over, and it's right next to this little cafe or bar. I don't know. I think it's a cafe because I think that one town doesn't have any bars in it. So I go over there and I pull in the parking lot, and the news people were gone. So I'm like, all right, let me go. I literally walk up there. I didn't even walk like all the way in front of it. So I snap a picture, and again, I'm on the phone with my cousin Nico. She's talking, and I'm like, just whatever. She didn't even know what I was doing. So I snap a picture. All of a sudden, I start walking back to my car, and I see this lady, and she, for some reason, like in my head, I thought she was gonna ask me like for directions or maybe like if there's any good restaurants around or something. So she comes up to me and she's like, oh, what did she say? She asked me something. I couldn't even hear her because my cousin was talking and I had my AirPods in. So I'm like, sorry, excuse me. So she's like, oh, what brought you here today? So I'm like, well, I said, I really wasn't coming here. I was just kind of driving by and I just, stopped it over here because it's beautiful what they did for her, and it's so sad. So all of a sudden I look down and I see she has like a recorder in her hand. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, she's probably from my like local newspaper or something like that. So whatever. I don't care, talking to her. If it's just going to be recorded, my voice, I don't give a shit, you know? So I'm talking to her. She's asking me a whole bunch of questions. What do I think about the case? Blah, 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 blah. This all happened like within 5 minutes. It was so quick. So I'm like, it's really sad and whatever. All of a sudden, like this guy with a fucking huge news camera. I don't know where this guy came from because if the news was out there, I wouldn't have even gotten out of my car. Like when I pulled up, they were packing their shit away. And I thought it was my local news, right? That's right here, the News 12 Long Island. So because I saw their van out there. But when I pulled back up, nobody was there. There was no news people out there. So I was like, oh, thank God. Because that was a day, I think they were releasing something, the medical examiner reports or some shit like that. Yeah, it was like 5 seconds. So I walk up and all of a sudden, like I'm sorry, I'm talking to a lady, and all of a sudden this guy with the fucking news camera literally is like right in my face. Like he came from like behind me, and I'm like, oh fuck my life, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is why, people are like, why you take so long getting ready? That's why, because that shit always happens to you when you're fucking look like shit. You know what I'm saying? It's when you run into like an old friend you haven't seen in like 20 years, That's what always happens when you look like shit. So that's why I always try to dress nice, but I've been slacking in my old age. But anyway, I'm like, fuck. So, the guy's recording me now. So now I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna be on camera. I had a huge pimple. I was like, oh my God, dude. Please, please. So yeah, but literally this was like not even a minute, you know? So then I come back and I see somebody sends me. I'm sorry. I get home that night and I looked for the video and I'm thinking to myself, they're not going to put this on the news. Like, who gives a shit what Leanna has to say? Like, who cares? Leanna from wherever, who gives a shit what my opinion is, right? Because there was big news coming out that day. I think it was the medical examiner's report or some shit, and they had determined the manner of death. So I'm like, they're not going to use that clip. So I go on News 12 and I look and I can't find it. So I'm like, good, thank God they didn't use it, right? The next day, I get a text message from somebody on YouTube and they're like, oh my God, you were on the news. And I look and it was News 4, which is NBC, but it was still like local. It was New York NBC, News Channel 4. That's what it is here. And I was like, oh my God. Next thing I know, Brian has it on his channel. And I'm like, why? And they're like trying to compare what I'm doing, what me talking to the news for 2 seconds, comparing that to people standing out in front of these people's houses and harassing them to death to get on the news. Like, that's totally different. Like, I literally wouldn't have even gotten out of my car if the news was like still standing out there set up. Like, I looked like shit. I was totally like not prepared. I looked horrible. Like, who would want to be on TV when they're like in their pajamas? Not me. I'm wearing some like white fucking wife beater like that I would never fucking wear. I look terrible. She tried to rope you into saying something and you didn't. Well, no, she was trying to basically get me to say that like, he's guilty or not guilty. And I told her, I said, I believe in our Constitution and I hope if he's alive to turn himself in. And the interview was like literally a minute, maybe a minute and a half, and of course they splice out like most of it. But it was like, I don't even know why would they even care what I have to say? So I was like, oh my God, this is like, I don't know how people found it. I think it's a little weird that certain people found it. But like, how could you even compare me going to the nail store and stopping by to snap a picture for a friend? Yeah, and he doxed me, but he had an excuse, sweet Melissa, because he was like, oh, it's not doxing. She gave her name out on the news. But no, it is doxing because I didn't share it here. And I thought it was my local news that's only played here in New York. I had no idea it would end up on YouTube. Like, I literally thought it was News 12 Long Island. They don't have social media. They don't have a YouTube account, you know? And especially knowing what people in this community do with your information. To me, yeah, it is doxing, but whatever. It is what it is. Everybody fucking knows my name by now. So, but anyway, I was just like, wow. Like, I don't know why he had to put that on his channel, but I don't know. I didn't even. I asked somebody to ask him nicely, if he could take it down, and he made a big deal about it. And I was just like, whatever, dude. If that's what, makes you feel better, bro, go for it. I'm not even around. I don't bother you. I haven't bothered you. I don't talk about you. Like, why you have to do that to me, I don't know, but I don't bother you, dude. I never bothered you. Never done anything to you. So whatever. So that was that. But it was pretty funny. But I'm like, this is not the same thing as throwing yourself in front of the cameras, okay? Going out there with a fucking megaphone, harassing the family. All right. First of all, I had no idea the news would even be there. I didn't even know that the memorial was there. I had no idea that thing was there. I didn't know they had that. I just happened to be driving by that day, and there it was. And I just took a picture of the memorial for a friend who was making TikTok videos about the case. You know what I'm saying? It's like, here I am. I also stopped by the what do you call it? Her funeral services on the way home. I drove through there because I was on my way home that day. Would I have left my house purposely to go there? No. But and I swear to God, her stepfather, his name's Jim something. He looks so familiar, that guy, that I feel like he worked with my mom at some point in time, and which is very possible because she worked right in the area. I mean, the town that Gabby Petito is from is literally like 2 towns away from where I grew up. So, it's right there. The dad looked real familiar, but the stepfather, I swear to God, I know him from shit. Sorry, just dropped my pan. So, I swear to God, I know him from somewhere. I have to go back through like my mom's pictures because he's a chief of the fire station there, but I know him from somewhere. I know him from somewhere. But it was just such a sad story. But I'm like, this is not the same as like people standing outside of these people's houses because I thought that was absolutely insane. First of all, JLR, Jonathan Lee Riches, and I'm not doxing him. That's the name that he goes by on here and everywhere else. That guy, I remember him from the what do you call it? From the Chris Watts case when I followed that. He was in this group. Do you guys remember? Okay, let's go back. I'm gonna take a little trip down memory lane here. You guys remember when MGL called me the first time? She called me back in like, I don't know, it was probably 2018 or 19, right? She called my phone and showed my phone number. Well, she left this weird message on my phone that day. Let me take the belt off my screen. She left this weird message on my voicemail that day. And she was talking about this group, this Chris Watts group that had all these people, these trolls in it. That dude, Jonathan Lee Richards, is one of the people that was in the group that she was talking about, that she was like threatening me with, like in a way, in a weird way, saying that, oh, these dangerous people and blah, blah, blah. That dude was part of the group that she was talking about, which was the Trent Cable or something. They called it Cable and Company. It was like a Chris Watts group, and it was one of the biggest ones before Kay started the Accused group. It was the biggest Chris Watts group. I forget the name of it, but he was in there and he was constantly spreading misinformation in there about the case, constantly. And so, one day, like he would write like these really inappropriate comments and shit in there and posts. So one day I click on his page and I start going through his pictures and I'm like, oh, this guy's like, he's like a real life troll. This guy, like he goes to every case that there is that's high profile. He's there. He puts himself in the middle somehow. All these different murder cases and all these different scenarios, all these like big things that are going on in the news. I don't know what the hell you call them, but I'm like, this guy's a weirdo. Like he's constantly thrusting himself in the middle of these cases. It's just fucking weird. Like why and how? How do you have money? Then I end up looking up his name, and he's like, he's a criminal, he was in jail for fraud or some bullshit. And I'm like, all right, dude, this is shady. Like, this guy's shady. That's why I was shocked, just being honest here. But I was shocked when, Jay for Justice befriended him because I'm like, that dude's a fucking troll. Like, I laughed the first time she had brought him up on her panel at the time because I'm thinking, this guy has no credibility, whatsoever. So, I mean, here he is now again with the Brian Laundrie case. Now he's in the Summer Wells case. Like, and listen, could people change? Sure. But this guy has a very long, history of doing this. This isn't like a new thing, unless he like turned over a new leaf. He's like, born again children's advocate now, I guess. I don't know. It's just very bizarre to me. Very bizarre how he puts himself in the middle of every single crime case there is. Like why? The Andrew girl, I didn't know, never seen her before, but either way, I'm like, dude, I don't think that standing out in front of a person's house, with a bullhorn, I mean, is really accomplishing anything. I don't know what they felt like they accomplished in Florida. They got Cassie to come out, but like that information, the police already had that information. All they helped was get a little gossip out, which is really not important, at the end of the day. It really wasn't important. I mean, they really turned the case into a fucking circus doing that shit. These are people's real lives. I think people forget that. And I've been part of it too. When I followed the Chris Watts case, like I got heavily involved in discussions. And I just like now looking back, I can't like I'm traumatized by that. I just don't want to play that role in that again. Discussing a case like, the way Gray Hughes does is totally different than this wild speculation, harassing families, standing outside of their houses, putting shit on their front lawns. Stop that shit, dude. Just stop. Leave these fucking people alone. Just leave them alone. I'm not standing up for Brian Laundrie's parents because I don't think that they handled things the greatest way. I think they went on the advice. Everybody's like, oh, they ran and got a lawyer. No, they had a friend that was an attorney. And any one of us, should we find ourselves in that situation, God forbid, one day, I think if we had a friend that was an attorney that was at our disposal, I think we would all turn to our attorney friend, for advice in a situation like that. But people are like chastising them for doing that, and I don't see the problem. They didn't, people put it out there the wrong way where they're like, oh, they hired a lawyer. No, they didn't hire him. They didn't hire him. They didn't, he was a friend and he gave them advice. He gave them great legal advice, but in the court of public opinion, it wasn't the best advice in retrospect. It caused a lot of grief for them, and then it comes out, oh, Brian's dead, and all that harassment was for nothing. At the end of the day, the parents might not have known where he was, and it's just, yeah, Duty Ron is another professional channel. I support Duty Ron all day, every day. You know why? Because he has people up there who are in the field, who are giving their professional opinions. I really enjoyed and I followed Duty Ron pretty much. That's where I got most of my news from for the case, because I'm real picky nowadays about who I follow for true crime. Gray Hughes, I'll always support. I know, for some people, Gray isn't everybody's cup of tea, but I've known Gray Hughes since the Jodi Arias case. So, I respect Gray Hughes. I think he's great at what he does. Whether you like him or not, his personality doesn't matter. His work is what, speaks for itself. And then you got Duty Ron, who's up there, and I like the guy that he brought on, that's kind of co-hosting with him now. I think they have a good rapport with each other, and Duty Ron, I find it way more interesting. He found, during this case, he brought in he's actually stopping the speculation, the ridiculous speculation. He brought on a forensic, what do they call it, anthropologist that didn't work on the case, but that knows, how forensic anthropology works. And so we talked about that and answered a lot of questions, dispelled a lot of the bullshit. Like, for instance, people were saying that they put baby teeth there. Get the fuck out of here. His uncle's a dentist. He planted baby teeth there. Baby teeth don't have a root. You don't think the cops would know a difference? I mean, just some of the dumb shit that was coming out of people. The fact that people still think this guy's alive and on the run somewhere is just fucking mind-blowing to me. It really is. I mean, just completely mind-blowing. But, it's just these people are getting carried away with this shit, and it's sick, It's sick to be standing. I could just never imagine a situation where I would stand outside of somebody's house screaming at them for days on end. I just how could you support that? How do you support that? It's like a lynch mob. I don't know. I just can't support that. I can't support leaving shit on somebody's lawn. Because I'll tell you right now, if you were standing outside my house on a megaphone, you wouldn't be standing for long. Nana, who is at Gabby's funeral? It's just, I just couldn't believe, how like a circus. What a circus these cases are turning into now. And it's only the high profile cases. Why are you not pounding the pavement, right? Every day in all different states. There's kids missing in your own state, probably, where you could do some good. I just don't know, even all these trips that are being taken by these people, going there and supposedly trying to put pressure on people. It's not helping because right now there's no crime. There needs to be a crime and people need to find, the girl. That's first and foremost, is that people need to find her. So organize a search party. I don't know, do something that's helpful to actually finding her. Because you can't prosecute somebody just because they have a criminal history, right? You can't just be like, well, Don Wells, I haven't been following the case so closely, so I don't know what his past charges are. And so I don't have any opinion on him or the case, but I'm just from, all the hearsay that I'm hearing. It's like, oh, Don Wells, he has all these charges, so he's guilty. So put him in jail. I did read that girl, Andrea posted some letter that she wrote to the judge, and I was like cracking up because I'm like, dude, this is the most, unprofessionally written letter I've ever read in my life. Like, this is bad. That's embarrassing to send to a judge. And it's a waste of time because the judge is not going to just put somebody in jail because you think that they're guilty. And I know that there's people that think that this guy's guilty. And like I said, I haven't followed the case so closely, but that's neither here nor there. But that's just not how our justice system works. That's not how the Constitution works. We're innocent until proven guilty, okay, in a court of law. So, he has to go through the whole process. They have to investigate, he needs to be charged, he needs to be indicted, it needs to go to a grand jury, and then he gets indicted. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just arrest somebody based on their past. That's not how it works. You know, I mean, I don't know. Could those like factors mitigate for him in court? Yeah, I guess so. But it's like you can't just arrest somebody because Andrew from Florida thinks that he's guilty. Like, because this, that, and the other reason. That's just not how it works. The police can only do so much. They need to. People don't understand how hard it is, and I suggest everybody here watch at least one murder trial. As boring as it is, watch at least one in your lifetime because you learn a lot about the justice system, how court works, how hard it is to win a murder trial because it's not a slam dunk every time. They need to have you're talking about, especially if somebody's getting charged with first degree murder, you're talking about putting somebody either to death depending on what state they're in or putting them in jail for the rest of their lives. There's a lot that goes along with that. That's a huge responsibility on the state. So they need to have all their, I's dotted and their T's crossed before they start throwing people in jail and arresting people. Suppose it bothers me how many people go live and beg for money at the name of this poor little girl. It is sad. The only person I could say, with certainty that has done good for this girl is Q Carlock and the people that she surrounded herself with, because she raised a shit ton of money for a small channel. It's really amazing for, what she did with that. And it's just, I'm addicted to Rakita Law. I don't know what that is. Is that a channel or, I mean, listen, the reward funds hardly ever get used, but, it's the effort that counts. And then afterwards, if the case is solved or whatever ends up coming from that, they donate it usually. So it's going to go to good use, no matter what. Just like Gray Hughes, like people don't know this about Gray, might not be common knowledge. Gray Hughes has donated over, I believe it's over $35,000 last like I heard on one of his lives, but it's probably more than that since I've heard, to help missing people, so he's doing good things. He's not just sitting there, trying to make money off these cases. That's not what he does. And that's why I have respect for him. And like I said, if you don't like his personality, I get it. But, I listen, me and Gray Hughes used to go at it back in the Jodi Arias days. you know, but and I agreed with a lot of what he said, his theories and stuff. They weren't fucking outrageous. They were just theories. But my whole point is that, he's not doing this just to make money. He's he's not just going live about Summer Wells 100 times a week because, he knows it's a hot topic right now. He's covering the Delphi case still. He covers all different cases, and he's doing good for the community. So Grace speculates off of facts. Exactly. Exactly. He doesn't just come up with this wild shit, and like whatever the fuck flies. And I just feel like, what if, all right, what if all these people are wrong, right? And Don Wells and what's the wife's name, Candace Wells. What if they're wrong? And what if they are innocent? Are they going to get an apology? Because I think it was John the other day brought up this point, and it was a good point about that documentary that was on Netflix a while back, Cats. I forget the name, but they at the end of the documentary, they interview this guy who they had like persecuted for basically online, and said that he committed this crime and all this other shit, and the guy was innocent. He was 100% innocent. They just speculated off of like these dark, weird videos that he made, and he ended up being totally innocent in the end. So, it's like this guy went through hell. He tried to commit suicide. I mean, it's just, what if you're wrong? You always have to keep that in mind. So, anyway, I just think, it's time for people to really have to be more careful, especially if you have a big following and a big platform. You got to be more careful with the things that you say, because it could get dangerous, as we've all seen. Don't fuck with cats. That's what it was. Was that the name? Don't fuck with cats. Oh, all right. Dinner calls are coming in. So anyway, all right. I'm gonna end this because family's coming home and they're looking for dinner, and I gotta make that happen. But I'll be around. I'll be back. Just doing normal, regular things like this. Just having conversations. So anyway, all right. Let me end this, and I hope everybody has a good night. I'm out. I'm out.